Hey, this is Robert reporting with Republic Rising again. And I wanted to talk a little bit more on the censorship that seems to be going on with YouTube and Facebook and Apple and Alphabet and all that stuff. That it obviously seems to be centered around not necessarily just right-leaning individuals, but individuals with the philosophy that does not agree with those in charge. Those that even the Twitter Dorsey came out, I believe it was yesterday, came out and admitted that that his company has a left-wing bias in how they view everything that comes onto their platform and how they regard it, whether it's going to be hate or not. They're going to view it through a leftist guise, and I at least tip my cap to him for admitting that, because more and more, at least, the liberals are coming out and finally admitting what they want, which is true socialism, which leads obviously to communism. And a socialist is just a communist too stupid to realize he's a communist. And they obviously are talking about anti-guns, the pro-abortion campaign, which my stance on that one real quick, it's, even though this ain't the video I'm going to elaborate on it, but is why should it be taxpayer funded? Why can't it just be a private individual company out there like everyone else? Like, it's government doesn't pay for my guns, the government isn't paying for me to shoot these videos and all that stuff, so that they're not paying for my First and Second Amendment rights. Why are they paying for that one that you call a right? It's it shouldn't be subsidized. Period. But going back to what the censorship is, because effectively it's because people on the right may have an opposite view to the left, like even that view that I just gave you right there, that I didn't even give you technically my stance on abortion. I just said it shouldn't be taxpayer supported. Period. Because there are enough people out there who do not like it, so why should everyone have to pay for it? It's not right. But even just having that view right there would start putting me in line with the censorship crap. And I think Facebook even admitted today too that, or technically they didn't use it. Oh, perfect timing. That Facebook is using a Chi-Com social score essentially for its users, and it upgrades and downgrades you depending on how you, I believe if I read it right, it's on how you report things on that website, on Facebook. And I'll show you that right quick. And this is on the website they do not want you to see, so dear Lord, you're seeing banned information right now. This man is being censored. They don't want you to see this. What do they don't want you to see? Oh shit, that InfoWars was right. Facebook using Chi-Com social score for its users. Let's see, and that's, my laptop messes up. That's probably a video right there that is him talking about it, but here we go. Over the past several years, InfoWars has also revealed Facebook tightening relationship with China, especially Zuckerberg met with Chinese censors, and the Drudge Report is highlighting the strong bond as well. Facebook is rating users based on how trustworthy it thinks they are. Reads an article by The Sun that's top linked at Drudge. Users receive a score on a scale from 0 to 1 that determines if they have a good or bad reputation, but it's completely hidden. Ba-ba-bum. What a surprise! When you send everything over to China, it starts to become Chinese. And they obviously have rolled out their whole social, civilian score or something like that, I believe what it was called. And the individuals of China are graded on how much they like their government. Are they doing things right? And if you've seen the videos to where you see the camera looking at a busy intersection, and it is able to pick out each and every single car and individual and all that stuff within a second. It's scary, the technical empire they have over there. And it's no wonder that I believe it was Apple and now Facebook are effectively China corporations. So don't be surprised when they start using their tactics. I mean, this shouldn't come to a surprise as anyone. Unless you're left-leaning. Ha ha! But, yeah, the whole reason I think that the censorship is going on is because One, they don't want you to see what Alex Jones really talks about on his radio show, because what you'll notice, and even I'm getting sick of it watching on the 5 and all that stuff, and even some of the commentators they'll bring on with Tucker Carlson, which Tucker won't individually himself bash Alex Jones, because I've seen them in an interview. Those guys get, like, they see eye to eye, but they do it two completely different ways. That's who they are, effectively. But the way that everyone on that network just parrots immediately the second Alex Jones's name comes up. Oh, but he's so reprehensible, Sandy Hook and those parents and children. But they'll never give you a quote. They'll never run a video that shows you exactly what he said at that moment. And that is also why YouTube banned him and took all those videos down. And so now he can't even show his videos of, this is what I said at that time, so here, check it out, see if that's what I said. And you can't even go back and look at that now, because they've been taken down. And it's, the great quote effectively is, cut out a man's tongue and you don't prove him a liar. Rather, you prove that you're afraid of what he has to say. And that is exactly what is happening to these right-leaning voices, and specifically Alex Jones, because I think there's a huge false flag that's coming, and it's going to be, ideally, if they could plan it out the way they want to, it's going to happen a week or so before the election, around that area, because they want the temperatures to be hot around that election time, much more than they are right now, but obviously leaning the other way, because they see that this Republican wave is actually growing, it's taking storm. And my advice to people on that right there is, don't just, because you hear that, oh, the red wave is actually going to dominate this blue wave, I don't need to go out and vote. Go out and vote. That is the only reason that wave is coming, is because you, the individual, are going out and voting in your local elections and all that stuff, and getting the right people in there. Not someone who just has an R next to their name, but someone who has the right philosophy for going into government. Someone who has the right mindset for going into government. Vote those people in. And I think you'll see America change that way. That is the easiest way to do it. By changing your local politicians, you can change your life so much easier than voting in the federal elections and electing a president and all that stuff. Your life will be more changed by the local elections in your life than at any presidential election, period. Understand that. And that's the beginning of the rabbit hole they don't want you going down. But yeah, there's a huge, the censorship, I believe, is because there's a false flag that's coming, and I don't know how they're going to attack, because they've got many avenues kind of prepped effectively. And one that they seem to really be prepping right now is they want to make it seem like it's going to be a conservative, a MAGA supporter, a Trump guy, a Proud Boy, or something like that, you know, is going to be the one that pulls off this attack. And it's going to be on the media. Someone in the media is going to get attacked, or someone's going to go, probably not into Fox News. It'll be in, like, more than likely CNN or MSNBC or one of their affiliates and all that stuff, and it'll be nasty, and it'll be a massacre, and it'll be disgusting, and it will get people in outroar. And it will be very easy for them, because since they manufactured the event, they can manufacture the narrative on it and spread it out to the people. And it will be very easy for them to go, see, this was Alex Jones's fault. This is Gavin McInnes's fault. This is Steven Crowder's fault, or Candace Owens' fault, or Mike Adams' fault. It's because of their ideas, because of how they think and what they spread out there, the Milo Yiannopoulos, the Paul Joseph Watsons, and all that stuff, that these people need to be shut up because it caused this. And there will be enough lemmings out there that will agree. And sadly, a lot of them will go out and probably vote in that sheep-like mentality. So that's why they want to censor a lot of these voices right now, and they have to do it now, because when it happens, if Alex Jones was still on YouTube and Facebook and he could get his message out there and just have a counter-narrative, whether it be right or wrong, just having an opposing narrative would force someone to go, okay, well, here's the mainstream, and here's what I completely disagree with this guy, but maybe, it lies somewhere right around here. And then they don't want that to happen, because if you veer off of their mindset at all, you're going to disrupt their plans and all that, and they can't have that. And one story that And so, yeah, that's why this is part of my conspiracy thing, and so I think they're going to pull a false flag and all that. And one group that I think will definitely have something to do with it, and it may even be a victim of it, too, is going to be the Muslims. And this is a strange event that definitely happened recently. 50,000 Muslims go into... come on, get a good view. There we go. Of, which ballpark? U.S. Bank Stadium, which is the Minnesota Vikings. And look at that. Now, initially, hey, it's just 50,000 Muslims, you know, who cares? They're doing their little call to prayer and all that stuff, which, if they went through all the proper permits and all that, on the surface, don't have an issue with it. But, when you start looking into it, it loses its on-the-surface benignness. They're celebrating Eid al-Adha. I more than likely said that completely wrong, but it's the festival of sacrifice, effectively. And what it is if I got the history right, is... Okay, good, they have it right here. Yeah. It's because in the name and the nature of the holiday where Muslims sacrifice livestock as a symbol of the prophet Abraham's willingness to sacrifice his only son. The U.S. Bank Stadium has now had to dispel rumors of mass animal sacrifices taking place inside the venue. Now, of the pictures they're releasing, obviously it doesn't look like anything happened and all that stuff, and the Sports Authority spokeswoman said no animal sacrifice will take place. So, if we take them on their, at their word for it, good, at least no animal sacrifice is taking place there, and all that. But, you look into who the speakers were at this event and all that stuff, and these were their main speaker, if I can find his name real quick, that guy, here, I'll show you real quick, that guy. This guy has called for the death of Jews and Christians on numerous occasions in his, imam talks and all that stuff, when he's preaching from the pulpit and all that stuff, to where this is a radical Islamic a-hole that and it just happens to slip by that they didn't know that he was going to be one of the ones speaking bullshit. Is it any wonder that in that same state is where the Democrats are so happy that they just not elected, but the one in their primary is this Muslim woman. Don't remember from exactly where, but they're saying, oh, look at this, we've got Muslim women, we've got men, we got women and all that stuff for the field of diversity. Then you look into who that Muslim woman is, and you notice that she's married twice. On the surface, no divorce. Divorce never happened. First marriage seems to be a sham. Second marriage is to her brother. And that's the type of people they're electing into their Congress. Alright? These are fucked up people. This is not good. And there was a good breakdown I saw on Instagram. Someone was talking about this. I don't remember who it was. But he was talking about how one of the main spokesmen for this, Eid al-Adha, however you say this, was saying that this is actually a show of force here in the U.S. Not a physical force, but of cultural force. You got to think of it that way, where this is the Muslims starting to show themselves, and this is what they do in all countries that they start to go into, where they're the minority. First, they claim refugee status, they need to get in there, and then they start demanding, special treatment because, oh, you can't discriminate against us just because we practice differently and we do things slightly differently within our culture, you can't do that. Then their numbers are starting to grow and all that stuff, and then you notice they start to have no-go zones, which they have there in Minnesota, and there are some ISIS training camps up there, I believe is Islamabad is what it's called up there in Minnesota. It's real nasty what's happening up in Minnesota. I'm glad I don't live up there. But then they do this, and once Muslims get around to about 10 to 12% of the population, they start to act out. And it gets ugly fast. Look at Sweden. Look at London. Look at all of the UK. Look at Germany. Pretty much look at all of Europe, yet it's not happening where? In Poland. where they didn't allow Muslims to come into their country, and if they did come in, they had to assimilate. Notice where it's not happening, over in Asia countries where they don't allow Muslims to come into their country. You're not having these booms of attacks and all that stuff. Only in countries that are being forced to accept these refugees who are just trying to flee terror, who then bring that terror with them. It's no coincidence. This shit's happening on purpose. It's like FDR said, nothing ever happens by accident. Everything is made to happen. And he said that as president, so you'd think he's got a little gravitas behind that statement. He knows what he's talking about right there. So, once again, I guess that's my conspiracy theory for right now, is I think this censorship, especially of the right-leaning individuals, is because there's going to be a major false flag attack that's coming that's going to be either against Muslims or it's going to be against the media, but I'm more leaning towards the media. I think there's going to be some kind of attack on media. I don't know how they're going to do it, but and they need to censor the people who are able to break their narrative and at the very least offer different perspectives and all that. They have to silence those so that way the narrative can be set and everyone agrees with it, and then so that way everyone can be brainwashed and we can all just, like sheeps to slaughter, just go down the path they want us to go down. So, once again, by them censoring Alex Jones, they didn't prove him a liar by taking all of his videos off and deplatforming him and all that stuff. Rather, they proved they're afraid of what he has to say. They're scared. They are scared. So, this is Robert reporting for Republic Rising. We got to fight the censorship, whether it be download Alex Jones's InfoWars app, all that, which is shot up on the Apple cart. I believe it's still on there, or it's the Google cart. One of them has it, one of them doesn't, because he's getting deplatformed, obviously. Download it. It's free. Watch his stuff. Don't listen to what other people say about him. Listen to what he says, and then agree or disagree from there. And then, it's completely legitimate at that point. But, this is Robert reporting for Republic Rising. We are the counterculture. We will survive. Peace. Infowars.com